You know, we think of nighttime as being dark, but that's only because we have no light pollution where we are. Most of the world cannot see the stars at night. Hi, it's me, and welcome to this channel. This is a photo of what NASA calls the black marble. It's our planet Earth at night, and it's beautiful. You can clearly see the continents separated by the dark ocean. And then there are these bright points of light that you probably assume are cities. But those bright blobs aren't cities. They're actually individual human settlements. Each one of those dots is a city or town with lights from millions of buildings. Here's an old photo of our home planet taken in 1973. And you can see how much more empty space there was back then. Every 2 years, NASA satellites take photos of the entire Earth at night. These photos are combined into a movie showing how our planet lights up over the course of a single day. The movie is called Earth at Night, and it starts out completely dark except for the sun, which is rising over the Pacific Ocean. As the sun moves across the sky, more and more places come online. For about an hour, we see the sun setting over the western United States. Then all of the lights of Asia wake up as the sun rises there. Then Africa gets its turn. Finally, we see the sun rise over Europe and the eastern United States, and then the cycle begins again, as the sun sets in the east and rises in the west. The reason why this happens is, of course, because the Earth is rotating. The ground beneath our feet is spinning toward the east very fast. Everything is going about 900 miles per hour, or 1500 kilometers per hour. At that speed, we go from one side of the Earth to the other, in about 15 days. That means as the sun rises in the east, it is simultaneously setting in the west. The reason that not every part of the planet gets sunlight at the same time is because the Earth is also tilted. If the Earth were not tilted, then every place would get exactly 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime every day. But because the Earth is tilted, some parts of the planet receive more direct sunlight at certain times of the year. And that's why we have seasons. In summer, when the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun, the United States gets more sunlight and therefore longer days and warmer temperatures. In winter, the opposite happens. The northern half of the Earth is tilted away from the sun, and we get less sunlight and therefore shorter days and colder weather. Most people understand that the Earth rotates and that it's tilted. So what's so interesting about this movie? What's really mind-blowing about this movie is how much light pollution there is. When I was a kid, I could look up into the night sky and see hundreds of stars. Today, if you show someone from the Middle East or Europe or the eastern United States the same view, they will struggle to find even a dozen stars. Most people living in cities have lost the ability to see the stars because of all the light pollution surrounding them. Even worse, each year, more and more people are born who will never know that there is beauty above them in the night sky. But there is hope. NASA wants to change that. Their satellite is called the Earth Polychromatic Imaging Camera, or EPIC for short. It flies aboard the International Space Station and takes pictures like these. On a clear night, this camera can see the entire Earth in visible light, near infrared and far red light. Normally, we can only see things if they emit light or reflect light from the sun, but this camera is sensitive to infrared light, which is invisible to humans. NASA uses these infrared images to create false color images like these. Each color represents a different band of infrared light. This makes the clouds stand out much more vividly, and it shows us details that we would normally miss. Like look here in this image. We can see swirling clouds high above the surface of the Earth. But my favorite thing about these images is seeing the night side of the Earth. Look here, the swirling clouds over the Americas are completely lit up, even though the sun is on the other side of the planet. All this light comes from the countless cities and towns on the surface of the Earth. When I look at this, I am reminded of just how connected we all are. All of these tiny lights represent people just like you and me. Some people are sleeping, some are eating dinner, some are watching this video. There are babies being born and people dying. There are friends laughing together and lovers holding each other close. All of these tiny lights represent stories. Every single one of those lights has a story to tell. Some of the cities up here in Alaska don't have roads connecting them to each other. To get from Anchorage to Fairbanks, you must travel by plane or train. I flew from Anchorage to Fairbanks once. It was one of the coolest flights I've ever taken, because I got to see what it looked like flying over all of those tiny lights. I remember thinking, wow, this looks like a map of the night sky. Here is another photo of the Earth taken by the same camera. This one is cool because we can see how thin the atmosphere really is. The top of the atmosphere is right about here. Up there, there is nothing but cold, hard vacuum. If you were to punch a hole in the bottom of the ISS and send an astronaut floating out into space, they wouldn't be able to see anything for about 600 miles in any direction. Of course, they would be met with a very unpleasant temperature of 270 degrees Celsius or 450 degrees Fahrenheit. But if they had a spacesuit that could protect them from the cold, they would still be unable to see anything. Why? because there is no air for the light to travel through. Light bounces off of molecules in the atmosphere, and then those molecules re-emit the light in all directions. This scatters the light around and makes the sky look blue during the day. But at night, the atmosphere does not glow. Without the atmosphere, the sky would be pitch black, which is why the air in the ISS is always kept at a low pressure to make sure that the windows stay clear and astronauts can see outside. Let's watch this short clip again. As the sun moves across the sky, we can see new places waking up. New Delhi, India comes online. Jakarta, Indonesia, Hong Kong, Taipei, Guangzhou, Shanghai, Tokyo, Seoul, Osaka. Then the peninsula wakes up. Moscow, Helsinki, Paris, London, Madrid, Berlin, Rome, Ankara, and then the Americas wake up. Mexico City, Guatemala City, Panama City, Bogota, Lima, Brasilia, Buenos Aires, Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, and then the sun sets in the east and the cycle begins again. It's so crazy how much of the planet is covered in human development. We built all these cities and towns so close to each other. Yet if you want to visit another country, you must cross oceans and continents, sometimes taking months to complete the journey. Back when I was in high school, I knew I wanted to be an astronaut. So I went to the library to check out books about space. There was one book in particular that I couldn't get enough of. It was a book about the Apollo missions. One picture in particular stood out to me. It was a photo of an astronaut holding the American flag while standing on the surface of the moon. In the background, you could see the dark silhouette of the Earth without any clouds. And I remember thinking, wow, we are really far away from everything. But then I thought, wait a minute, what does everything mean? Is the Earth really far away? I closed my eyes and imagined myself falling endlessly through space toward the Earth. As I got closer and closer, the Earth got bigger and bigger until all I saw was this beautiful blue marble with these white wisps of clouds covering it. And I remember thinking, wow, there is nothing more beautiful than the Earth. There is nowhere else I'd rather be. Now, let me ask you, what do you think is the most beautiful place in the universe? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you're looking for something to watch next, check out this playlist of videos that I think you might enjoy. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.